The land of Provence has a history quite separate from that of any of the larger nations of Europe. Its independent existence has its origins in the frontier nature of the dukedom in Merovingian Gaul. In this position, influenced and affected by several different cultures on different sides, the Provençals maintained a unity which was reinforced when it was created a separate kingdom in the Carolingian decline of the later 9th century. Provence was eventually joined to the other Burgundian kingdom, but it remained ruled by its own powerful, and largely independent, counts. In the 11th century, Provence became disputed between the traditional line and the counts of Toulouse, who claimed the title of Margrave of Provence. In the High Middle Ages, the title of Count of Provence belonged to local families of Frankish origin, to the House of Barcelona, to the House of Anjou, and to a cadet branch of the House of Valois. After 1032, the county was part of the Holy Roman Empire. It was inherited by King Louis XI of France in 1481, and definitively incorporated into the French royal domain by his son Charles VIII in 1484. Merovingian dukes and patricians. During the period of the Merovingian dynasty in Gaul, Provence was a province ruled by duces, military leaders and district commanders who served as defenders of the frontiers of the kingdom and ruled over vast territories, as opposed to the Comites, who ruled the cities and their environs. Provence was usually a part of the division of the Frankish realm known as Kingdom of Burgundy, which was treated as its own kingdom. Their title sometimes appears as Rector Provinciae. This is an incomplete list of the known Merovingian appointed dukes of Provence. Gondolf, Liberius, Ostrogothic appointee; Namatius, Frankish appointee; Bodegisel, Adivarius; Lupus, Jovine; Albin, Dynamius, Ludogisel, of Burgundian Provence; Nicetas, Babbo, Egila, Bardo, Willibard, of Burgundian Provence; Hector, Nymphidius, Antenna, Metranus, Maurontus, Abba. Carolingian dukes and margraves. Provence was ruled by a poorly known series of dukes during the period of general Carolingian unity until the Treaty of Verdun. Liebwolf, Geron, Fulkrad. Carolingian kings. After the division of the Carolingian Empire by the Treaty of Verdun, the first of the fraternal rulers of the three kingdoms to die was Lothair I, who divided his middle kingdom in accordance with the custom of the Franks between his three sons. Out of this division came the Kingdom of Provence, given to Lothair's youngest son, Charles. A heritage of royal rule was thus inaugurated in Provence that, though it was often subsumed into one of its larger neighboring kingdoms, it was just as often proclaiming its own sovereigns. The Kingdom of Provence was also known as Lower Burgundy. Its capital was first Vienne, then Arles, and it is therefore sometimes known as Arelate. Charles. Provence, divided between surviving brothers, Lothair II and the Emperor Louis II. The bulk goes to Louis. Louis II, also Holy Roman Emperor from 855. As with his Kingdom of Italy, Louis' Provence goes to his uncle on his death, Charles the Bald, also Holy Roman Emperor from 875. Louis the Stammerer. With the death of Louis, Charles's successor, Provence refused to elect his two sons and instead elected one of their own as king. Bossa married Ermengarde, daughter of Louis II, to strengthen his and his son's claim. Bossa. Louis the Blind, also Holy Roman Emperor from 901 to 905, who never used the royal title in Provence. Hugh. In 933, Provence ceases to be a separate kingdom as Hugh exchanged it with Rudolph II of Upper Burgundy for the Iron Crown of Lombardy, that is, rule of Italy. Counts within the empire. It was in the aftermath of the death of Louis the Blind that Provence began to be ruled by local counts placed under the authority of a margrave. Firstly, Hugh of Arles served as duke and regent during Louis's long blindness. Secondly, Hugh gave the March of Vienne and Duchy of Provence to Rudolph II of Burgundy in a treaty of 933. Rudolf was never recognized by the nobles of the country and instead appointed Hugh, Duke of Burgundy, its first margrave. At the time, the premier counts in the region were the Counts of Arles and those of Avignon. Those who would first bear the title comes provinciary or Count of Provence, descended from one Rotbold of Arles. William I and Rotbold I did not divide their father's domains, and this indivisibility was maintained by their respective descendants. It is thus impossible to ascertain who succeeded whom in the county, as various reigns overlap. The margravial title also continued in the family until it passed to Bertrand, Count of Toulouse in 1062. First Dynasty 961-1008 Rotbold I, 968–993 William I, 994–1018 William II, 1008–1014 Rotbold II, 1014–1037 William III, 1037–1062 Emma, 1018–1030 William IV, 1018–1051 Fulk Bertrand, 1032–1062 Geoffrey I, 1051–1094 William Bertrand, 1063–1067 Geoffrey II, 1063–1093 Bertrand II, 1093–1112 Gerberga, 1112–1127 Doucet. Gerberga died in 1112, passing the county to her daughter Doucet, whose husband, Ramon Berenguer III, Count of Barcelona, thus became Ramon Berenguer I of Provence. House of Barcelona. With a lack of interest in the Reconquista on their southern frontier, the Catalans turned towards their origins, the Mediterranean littoral and northwards. They coveted the region between the Cevennes and the Rhône, then under the control of Toulouse. In 1112, the Count of Barcelona, Ramon Berenguer III, married the heiress of Provence, Douce, who was the daughter of the Countess Gerberga of Provence, Gévaudan, Carlades, and part of Rodez. The marriage was probably taken at the urging of the Church, which was then in conflict with House of Toulouse. In 1076, Count Raymond of E was excommunicated, but he still lent his support to Eachard, the deposed Archbishop of Arles. With the Count away on the First Crusade, the Church took the opportunity to seize the balance of power in the region. This marriage effectively put Provence under Catalan control. In 1125, Raymond's heir, Alfonso Jordan, signed a treaty whereby his family's traditional claim to the title of Margrave of Provence was recognized, and the March of Provence was defined as the region north of the Lower Durance and on the right of the Rhône, including the castles of Beaucaire, Vallabrugues, and Argence. The region between the Durance, the Rhône, the Alps, and the sea was that of the county and belonged to the House of Barcelona. Avignon, Pont de Sorgues, Cormont and Latour remained undivided. Internally, Provence was racked by uncertainties over the rights of succession. Douce and Ramon Berenguer signed all charters jointly until her death in 1127, after which he alone appears as count in all charters until his death in 1131. At that time, Douce's younger sister, Stephanie, was married to Raymond of Boo, who promptly laid claim to the inheritance of her mother, even though Provence had peacefully passed into the hands of her nephew, Berenguer Ramon I. 1112–1131 Ramon Berenguer I the Great. 1131–1144 Berenguer Ramon I, son of previous. 1144–1166 Ramon Berenguer II, son of previous. 1144–1157 Ramon Berenguer IV, Count of Barcelona, as regent. 1166–1167 Douce II, daughter of previous. 1167–1173 Alfonso I, the chaste son of Ramon Berenguer IV of Barcelona, kept the title until his death in 1196. The county of Forcalquier was incorporated into the domains of Alfonso II upon his marriage with Gersande de Forcalquier. 1173 to 1181 Ramon Berenguer III, son of Ramon Berenguer IV Barcelona. 1181 to 1185 Sancho, son of Ramon Berenguer IV Barcelona. 1185 to 1209 Alfonso II, son of Alfonso I. 1209 to 1245 Ramon Berenguer IV, son of previous. 1245 to 1267 Beatrice, daughter of previous, married to Charles of Anjou. Ramon Berenguer IV left no male heirs, so he left the counties of Provence and Forcalquier to his fourth daughter, Beatrice, and her husband, Charles of Anjou. Capetian Angevin dynasty 1246 to 1285 Charles I, Count of Anjou, Maine, Provence and Forcalquier, King of Naples, Sicily and Jerusalem. 1285 to 1309 Charles II of Naples the Lame, King of Naples and Jerusalem and Sicily, son of Charles I. 1309 to 1343 Robert of Naples the Wise, Duke of Calabria, King of Naples and Jerusalem and Sicily, son of Charles II. 1343 to 1382 Joan I of Naples, Queen of Naples and Jerusalem and Sicily. 1349 to 1362 Louis I of Naples, King of Naples and Jerusalem and Sicily, as husband of Joan I. Queen Joan died heirless, leaving the county to Louis I of Anjou, son of King John II of France the Good, of the House of Valois. Valois-Anjou dynasty 1382 to 1384 Louis I of Anjou, Count and then Duke of Anjou, Duke of Calabria and Count of Maine, Duke of Touraine, nominal King of Sicily. 1384 to 1417 Louis II of Anjou, Duke of Anjou, Calabria and Touraine, Count of Maine, nominal King of Sicily, Count of Guise, son of Louis I. 1417 to 1434 Louis III of Anjou, Duke of Anjou and Touraine, nominal King of Sicily, Duke of Calabria, son of Louis II. 1434 to 1480 René I of Naples the Good, Count of Guise, Duke of Lorraine and Bar, King of Naples and Sicily and Jerusalem, Duke of Anjou and Touraine, King of Aragon and Count of Barcelona, son of Louis II. 1480 to 1481 Charles III, also known as Charles of Maine, Count of Maine and Guise, nephew of René I. Upon his death the heirless Charles du Maine bequeathed the counties of Provence Forcalquier to King Louis XI of France. From this point, the title of Count of Provence becomes simply one of the many hereditary titles of the French monarchy. The only time the title was used following this time was by the future Louis XVIII of France, who was known as the Comte de Provence until the death of his nephew Louis XVII in 1795, when he claimed the French throne. Margraves, within the Empire, House of Toulouse by his marriage to Emma of Provence, daughter of Rotebeul II, William III, Count of Toulouse inherited lands and castles in Provence. Emma inherited the title Margrave of Provence on her elder brother's death in 1037. Her son Ponce by William III did not survive her, but her grandson did and claimed her title in opposition to the younger line of Counts of Provence. 1062 to 1094 William IV. 1094 to 1105 Raymond IV. 1105 to 1112 Bertrand. 1119 to 1125 Alfonso Jordan. To accommodate the long-standing claims of the Count of Toulouse, in 1125 Provence was divided along the Durance. Lands north of the river constituted the March of Provence, ruled by Toulouse, and south of the river was the county proper, ruled by the House of Barcelona. 1125 to 1148 Alfonso Jordan. 1148 to 1194 Raymond V. 1194 to 1222 Raymond V. 1222 to 1249 Raymond VII. 1249 to 1271 Joan. Joan married Alfonso of Poitou. At that point, the county of Toulouse, the duchy of Narbonne, and the margraviate of Provence passed to the crown of France. By the terms of the Treaty of Meaux 1229, Governors and Grand Seneschals within France. Governors 1481 to 1483 Palamide de Fabin, 1491 to 1493 François de Luxembourg. Grand Seneschals 1480 to 1481 Pierre de Lane, J. 1482 to 1483 Raymond de Glandives-Forson, 1483 Palamide de Fabin, 1485 to 1493 Aymar de Poitiers, Comte de Valentinois. Governors, Grand Seneschals 1493 to 1503 Philippe Margret de Hochberg, 1504 to 1513 Louis de Layens, Comte de Longueville, 1514 Jean de Poitiers, Seigneur de Saint-Vallier, 1515 to 1525 René de Savoie, Comte de Tenda, 1525 to 1566 Claude de Savoie, Comte de Tenda, 1566 to 1572 Honoré de Savoie, Comte de Tenda. Grand Seneschals 1572 to 1582 Jean de Pontives, Comte de Casses, 1582 to 1610 Gaspard de Pontives, Comte de Casses, 1610 to 1655 Jean de Pontives, Comte de Casses, 1655 to 1662 François de Simeon Gordes. Governors 1572 to 1573 Gaspard de Solex Tavannes, 1573 to 1578 Albert de Gondi, Comte de Retz, 1578 to 1579 François de la Baume, Comte de Suze, 1579 to 1586 Henry d'Angoulême, called Henry Bâtard de Valois, 1586 to 1594 Jean-Louis de Nogret, Duc d'Épinay, 1592 to 1594 Gaspard de Pontives, Comte de Casses, 1594 to 1631 Charles de Lorraine, Duc de Guise, 1631 to 1637 Nicolas de l'Hôpital, Marquis de Vitry, 1637 to 1653 Louis Emmanuel de Valois, Comte d'Alais, 1653 to 1669 Louis de Bourbon-Vendôme, Duc de Mercœur, 1669 to 1712 Louis Joseph de Bourbon, Duc de Vendôme, 1712 to 1734 Claude Louis Hector, Duc de Villars, 1734 to 1770 Honoré Armand, Duc de Villars, 1770 to 1782 Camille Louis de Lorraine, 1782 to 1790 Charles Just de Beauvoir. In 1790, the French Revolution definitively ended the governorship